So this is the motor that I took out of the RV dryer. It's the one that's got the bad bearings. I don't think you can hear that, but I'll bring it over there and see if I can get you to hear it. But that slight noise echoes through the drum. It gets really loud, so it's really annoying. Can't be around it when it's drying. So I replaced this motor once. It failed within a year, same bad bearings. What I'm doing is I'm going to replace the bearings. I got bearings from, these are for scooters. They're supposed to be, very high strong, high speed and everything else. They're the same size, same part number, but they're made for a different application. So I'm going to try these, put those in there. What I got to do is take this apart. First thing I got to do is take this press fit. This piece here is what holds the fan on for blowing the air through the dryer. So it's a press fit on. I'm going to pull it off. A couple of screws. These come apart. And then I got to take the bearings out so I can press these in. So I'm going to start with taking this piece off. Come on. Try not to bend it. It's a really soft metal. I'm trying to take it easy with it. All that is doing is bending it because it's really soft. I'll have to bang it back together. So I'm going to try something different. I'm going to pause the video, get some tools. Be right back. Okay, back. So what I had to do to get this off, the puller was actually bending the metal. It's not really super strong, it's just stamped. So what I did was took an adjustable wrench, put it here, and all I did was tap on the shaft, right? And was able to basically tap this out, and by pushing that in, this guy popped out. So came off fairly easy. The tool, I've used it before, didn't have any problem. What I did was I took it to the bench, took the socket, flattened it back out, and so it's nice and flat. So this, got to be careful because the pulley can, I took one off on the other motor, came off real easy. This one was on a little tighter, so it started bending. So all I had to do was use something to push against the crush sleeve. This is a pressure fit, and push it off. So 4 screws. I like to make an alignment mark, so I put everything back. The casing on this is just stamped, nothing special. There's a screw on this side, there's 2 screws on this that holds the mounting for the motor. Just 3 screws. Comes off. So the hardest part about this is getting the dryer out so you can get to the motor. So 4 screws, hold it together. So this is the plate. You have a washer here that is it takes up the space, so it's got a little bend. Do not lose that. This bearing right here, got to come off. Trusty bearing puller, picked it up on Amazon, a couple of bucks. I think it was 10 bucks. Wasn't too expensive. Maybe $10, $15. The bearings were $10. So even if you don't have the tool, you're talking about, you know, $25, $30 fix compared to buying a new motor for $100 bucks. This guy I bought different size screws so it would handle bigger pulleys and smaller. I think I paid $1 for the extra screws for this at the local hardware store. Okay. Now if you can see that, bearing puller grabs behind, pulling the bearing, sliding it out. Voila. One bad bearing. It even shakes. The other thing, don't lose the sleeve. It's a spacer. It's going to go in between the shaft and just took it apart. Don't lose this guy. He's the other. I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like. Kind of looks like a bent washer. Basically takes up the space, takes up the slack. Don't lose them. It goes into here. That's where the bearing goes in, so don't lose it. You're going to need it. All right. Second bearing. Definitely need the tool to get this job done. And if you don't have the tool, you can take it to a local shop and ask them to press it, press the old ones off and the new ones on. Get it done for a couple of bucks. You're still saving. Second bearing. So, spaces, don't forget those. They got to go on. New bearing. Two new bearings. Do not get these mixed up with the old bearings. New bearings, old bearings. Yeah, there's 4 there because I already did one motor, doing a second. So, new bearings. I'm going to move the video over to my press so you can see how I pressed in the bearings. I'll pause the video. Okay, so I made this little jig right here to press this in. Basically, this is the size of the bearing. This guy will fit down in here, be able to press down. What you're going to do is push it until the spacer makes contacts on both sides. Which is right about there. You can feel this tighten up when you get there. And bearings pressed in. Don't lose your spacer. So this guy's in. Gonna do the other side. Gotta do is lower it a little bit. Basically, same setup. So, there you have it. Both bearings pressed in. Harbor Freight, in case you need one. It works. I'm going to pause the video and move back to the table and put it back together. All right. So, same thing, putting this back together. Do not forget the little washer. So, I'm going to take this guy here. I do have the spacer washer in there. Take that. Find my little mark. The reason why I marked this, and see, look, turned it upside down and fell out. The reason why I marked this, I just put it back the way it came together. I guess it doesn't really matter, but don't forget that. What you gotta do is squeeze it. It's got little tabs. Oh, if you're wondering, it's a T20 Torx. So actually, to repair the motor, about 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. Most of it is taking it out, getting it out of the dryer, taking the dryer, and even getting it out of the dryer is not too bad, about 20 minutes. The hardest part is getting it out of the RV. But if you can get it out of the RV, you can fix it. Not a lot to this dryer. Nice and quiet. Now this guy is where I had a problem before. What happens is it's a press fit and it's soft metal. It's just a piece of sheet metal. And when it goes on, you want to make sure it's tight and doesn't come back off. I've put them on before and they've just pulled off. What I'm making sure is it's flat when I spin it. This guy here is flat, it's not wobbling, because there's going to be fan go on there, fan blades, you don't want them wobbling. Yeah, it's straight. So now, I know it's common sense, but the first thing I do is put the screws in loosely, then go around after they're all in and tighten them up. This way you don't have a problem. If there's one that doesn't want to go in or it doesn't fit right. There you go. Except for my fingers flicking on it, it's quiet. So that's it. Really not hard. These are 600 1Z. 6001Z are the bearings. The ones that I got got them off Amazon. They're made for scooters. They're supposed to take a high strength and everything else. Part number on this was 9951. I don't know if that helps. It's got another part number that says 73485. So one is probably the seller's part number and the other is the manufacturer's. But that is it. I got a spare motor now because I bought one. Figured I'd buy one, put it in, wouldn't have a problem. It lasted 1 year. So I rebuilt it, got an extra one. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, if I'm going to sell it, keep it. Bearings. But it's doable. You can fix it yourself. You can get it fixed if you're handy with tools. You got a couple tools. A T20. I use this guy here. So these are the tools. Plus my press. If you can't afford a press, so you don't have one, you take a piece of pipe, cut it. Just make sure it does a nice, don't get it so it hits here where the oil cover is, because you'll crush it, won't be good. You want to get something that's big, that will fit over it, that's got a nice flat surface. You can actually just tap these into place. If you don't have a press, put a little WD-40 for lubrication, even though WD-40 is a cleaner. You can tap it in there. There are a lot of ways if you don't have a press. They're not really tight bearings so where you couldn't tap them in and get them all the way down. I have a Harbor Freight press, really inexpensive, but if you're only going to use it once, you can take it down to any shop and ask them to press them in for you once you got it apart. Or just take it to your local electronics store that fixes motors. We got one here downtown. Take it down there, they'll probably charge you $50 to do it. So that is it. I'm going to stop talking.